What is the tale of the boy who drew cats in Japanese folklore? It is an old fairy tale dating back to around the 15th century. It begins with a boy who is small and frail, yet clever, is sent away from the family to become a Buddhist acolyte and priest, rather than a farmer for the family. He arrives at the monastery and meets an old priest who begins to teach him. The boy was a very good student, but he had one flaw. He liked to draw cats. On the monastery screens, on the walls, everywhere. The old priest told him he must stop doing that, but the boy could not help it and continued. So, eventually, the old priest told him he must leave the monastery, but with one piece of advice: avoid large places, keep too small. The boy had no idea what the priest meant, but nonetheless he left, and unwilling to go home for shame of his family, he went to a nearby town where he knew there was another monastery where he could ask to be an acolyte there. When he reached the town, there was no one on the street, and the monastery itself was closed up and dark except for one light. He knocked and no one answered. After a while, he pushed open the door, which was unlocked, and entered. The inside was thick with dust, so he thought the priests would be happy to have an acolyte to keep things clean. And then he saw some screens and walls, and he could not help himself. He drew more cats, many of them, and after a while he got sleepy. So he looked for a place to sleep. And then the words of the old priest came to his mind: avoid large places, keep to small. So he found a small cabinet and latched it closed and went to sleep inside. Hours later, late at night, he was awoken by the sounds of screaming and fighting. It lasted a long time and got more vicious sounding, and the whole monastery shook. Finally, after hours, it subsided. When morning came, the boy finally had the courage to peek out of his cabinet, and what he saw amazed him. A monstrous rat, bigger than a cow, lay dead in the middle of his room. But what killed it? He saw the cats he had drawn on the walls had blood coming out of their mouths and claws. Somehow, they had protected him and killed the rat in the night. The boy was praised as a hero, as the rat had taken over the monastery and killed others who had tried to kill it. The boy lived on and became a renowned artist named Sesshu, or some say he became a devout priest. His story lives on in Japanese folklore.